We got to get into this conversation this morning because it's an old, stale conversation. And the conversation is about what men supposed to be doing for everybody else, and that makes you a man. And in my opinion, that just makes you a disposable tampon. And here's what I mean by that. That doesn't mean that men don't have responsibility, obligation to the family, the people that they love, and the people that pour into them. We're talking about responsibility without authority. We're talking about responsibility without benefits, which is the exchange of energy, taking care of those who take care of you, the reciprocation as well as the giving. And that's the fundamental problem with the conversations today. And I remember talking to my brother, the coach of the condition, yesterday about this topic. When they talk about masculinity in male leadership or what it means to be a man, it's always about this unconditional servitude or surrender of resources. But they never really ask the question, are the individuals receiving this from men worthy? The word worthy of even being under a man's leadership. Do a man even want these people to submit to his leadership? Are they worthy of being under his leadership? And the question becomes, even in relationships, what is the reciprocation? How are men supposed to be treated? And are the people that he's providing for, protecting, even good people? And this is the issue I had with Scott Galloway. You keep telling what these young men supposed to be, but you never talk about what are these women worthy of having a husband, or worthy of having a long-term relationship with a squared away, decent, respectable man. Because we focus this conversation all the time about what men need to be, this unconditional thing. And I've heard a brother, I was watching Ask the Brother podcast the other day, the brother Whitfield or whatever. He talked about male leadership by leading with example. No, you lead with example and you tell them what to do. That's the way of circumventing masculine authority. And we call that the subliminal circle jerk that bitch-led men get into this conversations, because the women in their lives run their lives and they cannot tell them what to do because they're afraid of them. They exist in matriarchal culture. Lead by example and you tell them what to do, period. Because a good captain doesn't give orders that cannot be followed. A good leader does not do that. It doesn't give unreasonable, ridiculous orders in the first place. Secondly, a man is supposed to be vetted by other men. And that's the difference between a masculine environment that's run by some level of patriarchy. That woman's father and the men in her family supposed to vet that man and his character before he's put in place. Not the bunch of emotional feeling Hollywood bullshit you got on, but that's not the way life works. So we have to exist in the reality we live in. But and my thing to these guys too, who always talk about men picking the right women, let me tell you something about picking women. For some of these goofies out here, who you pick today may not be who you pick. Who that person is 10 years along down the road, or 5 years, especially when the state gets involved. The bait and switch. Even guys, I'm not saying guys don't have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to properly vet all women through red pill lenses. But you got religious grifters out. You got all these women using religion to get into relationships, pretending to be somebody they're not. They're very good. Some women have gotten, especially the older ones, have gotten really good with that honeymoon phase. And then they do that when the state get involved and they get leverage. They do that quick bait and switch, or even the influence of the culture. This person might be a certain way today, but they get into a certain friend group 5 years down the road, and the influence of the spirit of the hyena gets into them, and they start hanging around a bunch of these succubus demons, and their mind gets polluted by friends, and they're talking about what you ain't doing and what you should be doing, and comparison is the thief of joy. Got social media, you got influencers. She starts watching some shit, or she starts blaming you for all of her personal happiness that has nothing to do with you. It's an internal problem that she needs to fix, or whatever else. They're very influenced, especially in the culture with social media, 24 hours. There's always somebody in your house that was never invited through these phones. And she's listening to them in videos and people, other women, and women like to sabotage. Again, men compete, women sabotage. Other women sabotage in your relationship. The dude at work trying to sabotage you. The women around her that are unhappy and miserable trying to sabotage in her ears, planting seeds of destruction. There's all kinds of influences. So this pick right shit is for goofy ass, bitch-led men that don't have any life experience with women, with society, and with the way the world work. They try to pretend a certain way because most of these guys are egalitarian in their nature in terms of not even egalitarian. They're being ran by their women, and they're doing everything. See, they measured their value as a man by having a woman. Without a woman, everything, oh, my wife, I wouldn't have be done this, and what, you a goofy, lazy bastard. Peaceful life was driven and motivated, single, driven and motivated with a woman. With or without a woman, I move the same way. I'm up in the morning, hit the gym, do whatever I gotta do, focus on making some money. With or without a woman, I burn the same flame still burns in my soul without a woman, period. Now, I'll add a woman to my life, and I think men and women are better together, period. In the long term, if it's a good woman, the 10% woman that follows in with your plan. But this idea of this unconditional protection, provision, and servitude, or always talking about what a man's supposed to be, but nothing about how a man's supposed to be treated or what a man is supposed to receive for this protection and provision is the goofiest conversations of this planet. It is a gynocentric conversation built on an environment of men of just disposable, altruistic tampons, and it's the same type of worshiping of one gender without any expectations of requirement. Men are supposed to be treated well, and I teach guys on this channel all the time. Men are supposed to have self-esteem. And that's why I recommended Ayn Rand to many of these guys to get rid of the sin of altruism. So you're not just walking around working your ass off as a zombie every day, dying. You're not taking care of your health, you're not taking care of your well-being, pouring into everybody else and not receiving any respect. Maybe get some socks on Christmas or whatever else. And again, I think they're saying that somebody said that a man's presence is not appreciated until he's gone. Bump that shit. Appreciate your presence now. In fact, do something nice for yourself every week. Go get yourself a nice massage. Go do something. Even if you go sit somewhere and enjoy yourself a damn ice cream or smoothie by yourself or whatever the hell. Take your time, take your health. Go get your health checkups. Go for walks, exercise. Take care of yourself in this life. You're going to be probably forgotten in 2 weeks to a month in terms of when you drop in the hole and die. So you might as well live this life and enjoy your life and enjoy some things for you. Do it for you the way you want to do it, and get some blessings of this, your hard work. Remember, your money is a representation of your hard work and your labor. You have to bust your ass to get that shit. So enjoy some of it for you. Do it yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to sit around here worry about somebody caring about your ass, even though people care about you and love you. Do some shit for you. Be proactive in terms of enjoying your life, in my opinion. That's all. But we got to get out of this habit of always talking about what men's supposed to be for everybody else. We do enough of that. We get the message. What are you supposed to be doing for that man? How are you supposed to be treating him? How is he supposed to be taken care of? That's the question. And that's the problem we have right now. They've raised one gender to be selfish, self-centered, focus on their career, focus on be a girl boss, take care of yourself, do whatever you got to do to take care of yourself, be about you. But they have not. And a man's supposed to do this and that. They even expect men to put their lives on the line for strangers. Strangers. Not the women or people under his cover, but strangers. People that you don't even know. But do you think they're going to care about you? You get your ass deleted? Hell no. And you have robbed your family or the people that you love and cared about of the things that you're supposed to be doing for them. And they've been cheated. And that other person don't give a rat's ass about you. So this idea of unconditional servitude, unconditional protection, and men of these disposable tampons, that's going to have to be bump that shit. That don't exist on this channel. We teach self-esteem over here. We don't be out here jumping on no, whatever, grenades for strangers and doing all this goofy shit out here. For who? For what? And what would be the reciprocation or the reward for that? And that's why my issues with like the Galloways, like I said, and all these guys that pretend to be masculine men, talking about manhood and man's supposed to do and do and do and do. And this is what makes you a man. That makes you a disposable tampon. That makes you a person who thinks that they're beneath. The only time you could be valuable as a man is you allow people to use you like you was disposable, worthless in your life, and the meaning has no meaning in life. Goofy shit. And for not only that, we're gonna also consider the fact that you holding men to these traditional ideas of masculinity, traditional standards, while women are modern. Half of these women walk past, they hate men. They despise men. They were raised to believe that men are part of this evil patriarchy. They despise you until they get that flat on the side of that highway and they need you to come change their tire. Or they're in desperate need of some type of help. So why the hell would you be out here on this old, worn out, burnt out idea of traditional masculinity? No, still be that, but for yourself and the people you care about. For people that don't even like you. I don't get that whole idea or that mindset. That's the idea of somebody still living in the past and looking for some validation from strangers or whatever else. And that's absolute nonsense, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. Because we're living in a different world. We're living in a different time. And I know now with the economy and the way things are going around, you're going to get a whole lot of people with bullshit. You're going to get the people. See, when I made that video the other day about Klay Thompson, I call him the destroyer of hope. Because a lot of these women thought that they can just be thoughting up. I use the word thought because I can't use certain words, obviously. They be out here getting ran through because they wanted to be like men. They thought that, oh, okay, it's that sameness feminism, that sameness, when men and women are completely different. They say, well, if men can have sex with multiple women and not destroy their value, we shouldn't do the same to us. But men and women are different. And they didn't understand that. So they wanted to go out here, listen to these feminists, get involved in sexual liberation, get ran through, and then and make marriage and long-term relationship the last stop on the sexual liberation rail lines. Instead of it being the first stop, it's the last stop. And the man that they get the worst deal. He's guy number 30. And that's the system they wanted to run. So what Klay Thompson did was he destroyed a hoe's fantasy. So, oh my goodness, they were waiting for it to work out so they can say, oh, look at you guys. All you guys are saying body count matters and all this other stuff. Look at her. She, to them, she's high value in their world. Whatever that, I don't want to get into the high value stuff. But in the world of men, it doesn't even matter. So he destroyed hope. So what they're going to do now is double down on religion. They're going to run that into the end zone. They're going to be on that 1 yard line and do that Hail Mary with only 25, 30 seconds left on the clock. They're going to double down on religion, because what happens in religion is they can say, well, I want to live a godly life as a godly woman. You're going to be guy number 30 and you're going to be my husband, because if you want to have sex with me, even though I've had sex thousands of times with various different men, it is considered fornication. And you got to marry me to make me an honest woman. And of course, sign over all your stuff with the state so that I can have access to that, so they can improve my retirement and long-term living. The missing ingredient is your money. No matter how they pump fake you, jab step you, whatever, you fake you. At the end of the day, what's missing is your money. And what the goal is to get your money, use your money as theirs, add it to whatever they got or whatever they didn't save. And you're going to be the fill in the gaps for mismanaged youth. And in the end, once that contract is signed, you're going to get a goofy at the house. That's what's going to happen to you. Male lion cannot lead the hyena. I don't care how masculine you are, what you think you are. With the state involved, is you versus her and the state. And the state is like John Gotti. You can come in there talking all that shit you want. You're going to get them ankles broken. It's just the way it is. And guys think that they got more power than the state. I used to work for the state. You see those things on the wall over there? Those are certificates for performance in law enforcement. And you cannot out muscle the state. You will lose. Period. And she's got the state on her side. So the idea is to muscle you into a relationship where she can easily extract your resources, which is marriage, legal state marriage in America today, especially for these older women that are scammers using religion to sucker some dude in. She don't care about that crap. She has her version of religion in her head. It's all about forgiving her for her past misdeeds and muscling some dude that is not strong enough to realize that he's being scanned or has a scarcity mindset, not recognizing that she's using this goofiness with the state only as a means of leverage, using religion and using this celibacy, fake celibacy after having sex 10,000 times. She's going now, so no, I don't knock this now. Look, women, however you get in the end zone with your Hail Mary, go ahead and do it. A Peaceful Life is just talking to the men here. This is a male advisory channel. People think that I'm invested in terms of, let me say, I'm of the mentality, let these wild horses run free. You know what it's like out here now with the feminism and the women and the dating and relationship market. The economy fixed that. Kevin Samuels and all these men talking, running their mouth on these panels, did not do anything to change or even alter or even try to, even though it's not genuine, change the mindset of these women. You know what did that? $4 plus on 87 regular gas. Diesel, what, $6 in California plus? Inflation like can't afford it. Rent, food, expenses, bills. You can't afford feminism. They got rid of DEI. They got rid of all this stuff. Automation is coming and replacing jobs. That's what fixed that feminist arrogance that you see. They don't even come in this channel talking shit no more. You know why? Because it's too damn painful to be messing with men in 2026. It's too financially painful to be irritating a peaceful life, calling him Mr. Cooper or whatever else, or talking about my bald head or how old I am in 2026, because they think any man that is squared away right now, they're not trying to irritate you because the missing ingredient is your money. Period. Pissing men off, it's not going to make them spend the money that they want men to spend. So they don't come over here messing with us like that he used to back in the days when a certain person was in charge of this country, or even before then, and their hero lost. So I'm not saying I'm not into any of that politics or whatever, and all them damn programs is gone. For the first time in their life, and in a while, they're scared. And guess what? I still think they're jacked up in the head with that feminist crap. But the hero is you, looking for a hero. But relationships under duress, it just ain't gonna work out, because deep down inside, that feminist core is still there, that hatred of men, that villainization. So all they want is really to get the state involved so they can have leverage in extracting resources from you. There's no change. Because as soon as the leadership change back to those types of individuals again, the arrogance will come back. The programs will return. The money will continue to go back into these basket weaving degrees, and they'll walk around with their arrogance, and the programming will continue on with this certain indoctrination will come back into the fray. And so men have to also consider these realities in life. So it's not really a genuine interest in relationship. It's just they're broke. And survival is one of women's main instincts. And if the government is not going to get the money to them, who else is going to pay? You. And go back to what I said before. The missing ingredient is always your money and your servitude. But it comes to them in their mind they don't want any conditions put on that. You not expect for them to be a virtuous, good woman. You can't expect for them to not be completely ran through or have debt, not have mental health problems, or they have to do things to you, and they have to serve you the same way they serve their damn boss at the job. They don't want to serve you because to them, that is the evil patriarchy and that is oppression. But they want you to serve them and pay for their shit. Make it make sense. But you're gonna be a traditional man for women that have never been traditional, paying all these bills. Your money is hers and her money is hers. Or your money is ours and hers is hers. And she wants to, you're guy number 30 and she's talking about traditionalism. Yeah, good luck with that bullshit. Again, gentlemen, peace is beautiful. That's why I live this peaceful sexual lifestyle. I am in love with peace. Peace is my bitch. I told you guys that on this channel. And I am faithful to peace. And that's just the way I operate in my life because I already know the bullshit, whether it be the religious scammers or those searching for a hero or whatever else. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't change the way I move in terms of dealing with women and whatever else. I still deal with women. I just understand. I understand them. I respect them and I enjoy them. And that's the whole idea. I don't believe in keeping men hooked in some bullshit red pill rage. Or swallow that damn pill, move to objectivism, absorb some Ayn Rand, build your self-esteem, build your discipline and the ability to say no. It's the power comes from your ability to say no, not from your ability to people may think it's like, getting women and getting boxes is the achievement. No, the ability to say no to box, to say no to bad deals is your power. And you're not going to do that unless you feel good about yourself. And I say, global travel helps get rid of that scarcity mindset, but also your own self-esteem and mindset. And even though there are women that eject the ball over the world, because female nature is universal, but at least it gives you an idea of the value of pre-owned and your power and your value as a man, because Western society beats you down into a pulp where you deal with and accept some mediocrity. But anyhow, I got to hit out the door. Talked long enough on this video. Peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm out.